Now friends, come to this particular part for the purpose of discussion. Whenever there is a HUF is a partner or as a partner in the partnership firm. Before reference go ahead and take up this particular type of questions, let me tell you that they are very valuable, very important from examination point of view. And normally questions of this type will be rated for 10 to 16 marks. It can be 16 marks very easily in the examination condition. Okay. And without knowing some fundamental concept and some fundamental Supreme Court rulings, you cannot answer them. Without knowing this fundamental principle, you cannot answer it. Okay. So first of all, friends, I want you all guys to understand a concept. Okay. What is a concept? Okay. See, this is based on the Supreme Court judgments that if there is a partnership firm, okay, if there is a partnership firm, if one of the partner ex-HUF wants to become a partner in the partnership firm, that means if HUF money are to be invested in the partnership firm, then HUF cannot become a partner in a partnership firm. First of all, HUF is not a person who is recognized under a general law. Okay, and therefore HUF cannot make investments in a partner in the partnership firm because HUF is not a recognized entity under the general law. However, the HUF can make an investment. It's not that it is impossible. It cannot make a direct investment, but it can make an investment through a representative person. Okay, so this Mr. X is called as a representative person. So he is representing the HUF in this particular partnership firm. Okay, so if I say that X HUF Y Z, supposing this is a partnership firm X HUF Y and Z, so it will be understood like that Mr. X is a registered partner. Mr. X is a registered partner, but X HUF will be the beneficial partner. Okay, same thing applicable even for the HUF making investment into the shares of the company. HUF as such cannot make investment in the shares of the company. However, the HUF money can be invested, but through a representative person where the registered partner will be the member who is representing, and the any beneficial interest or the money which comes that will be going to the ex-HUF because the beneficial interest is with the ex-HUF. Now, under the partnership law and under the other provisions as such, Mr. Y and Z, okay, they are having the contractual obligations or the relations with Mr. X. That means if supposing there is any dispute in the partnership firm, you have to just understand like that. If there are any disputes in future, then Mr. X will be responsible to Y and Z, not ex-HUF, okay, because the registered partner is Mr. X. So when it comes to Mr. X, he has a different role to play when it comes to the partnership firm. Okay, and the same Mr. X will be answerable. Same Mr. X will be answerable to the other family members. For example, Mrs. X, his son 1, son 2, daughter 1, because it is after all the family money. Okay, so this Mr. X will be responsible to answer the questions to the family members because he is investing the family money in the partnership firm. So in other words, this Mr. X has got a two separate role. I repeat, this Mr. X has got two separate role, and both the roles that we have to understand that he is a partner, a registered partner in the partnership firm. So he is answerable to any disputes, any questions to Mr. Y and Mr. Z. That is a different relation, and the same gentleman is also answerable to the other family members because he is investing the family money in the partnership firm in the given circumstances. Okay, so this is a fundamental principle. Now, in the given situation, now the following practical questions come from the taxation point of view. This is very general Supreme Court case laws. Okay, now in the balance sheet of the partnership firm, ex-HUF is making the investment. Okay, now say for example Messrs ex-HUF YZ. Now this is how only it will be written, but understanding will be in our back memory. The moment I write ex-HUF, registered partner is X, beneficial partner is ex-HUF. Okay. Now if this firm pays any remuneration to Mr. X, listen very carefully. What will happen what will happen to this particular remuneration adjustment under section 40B? That is going to be our $1,000,000 question, which we have to learn in this particular part of the discussion. Okay. Second point is, supposing if there is any interest on capital, supposing there is interest on capital, because capital is introduced by XHUF, any interest on capital, okay, then what will be the fate of section 40B adjustment? Because this section 40B is a limit of 12% when it comes to the interest subject to other theory conditions of section 40B. So what will be the fate of any interest transaction? This is what I want to tell you. And what will be the fate of the remuneration transaction is another angle which you have to study from section 40B point of view. Okay. Secondly, the interest payment. Now, first of all, I will take up the interest payment. Okay. Then thereafter, I will take up the discussion with respect to the remuneration. Understand the fundamental principle, only then I can touch this type of questions. Otherwise, this type of questions is practically impossible to explain. Okay. Now, first of all, I am discussing interest transaction. Okay. You have to remember very carefully that interest is a return on capital or the investment, as the case may be. The nature of transaction with respect to the interest is a return on capital, or it is return on investment, the money which has been invested by a particular person. Okay. The interest transaction has got nothing to do with the work. I repeat, it has got nothing to do with the work, that whether you are working, not working, like this you don't have to think. You have to think differently. Okay. At the same point of time, the return on capital or the return on investment, the capital can be invested by Mr. X or Mr. X HUF also. See, when I'm saying that X HUF is a partner, when I'm saying that X HUF is the partner, so it is possible that X HUF has made a capital investment and Mr. X in his personal capacity has given a separate loan to the partnership firm, on which again there is an interest transaction. So on the capital also there is an interest transaction, and on the loan also there is an interest transaction. Because the funding given to the partnership firm can be on the either account, capital account, or even on a loan account. Is that very much clear? So these are different possibilities in which we have to operate. Now, section 40B will be applicable. See, section 40B will be applicable. Now, first of all, I am focusing on interest. Okay. And interest to any partner. Listen very carefully. That means this particular 12% adjustment that we are talking about, it is applicable only when the interest is paid to the partner. Supposing interest is paid to a non-partner, then this adjustment of 12% has got no role to play. Is that absolutely clear? So, supposing if partner is X, the interest is paid by the firm to X, then section 40B provision can be applicable. No doubt about that, because it is interest paid to the partner. But supposing if partner is Mr. X and the interest is paid to Mr. A. For example, A is not a partner. Okay. So for that, section 40B provisions cannot be applicable. That means this 12% limitation cannot be applicable. Other provisions on merits can be applicable. But this section 40B cannot be applied because it is to a non-partner. Okay. Now, supposing if partner is X, interest is paid to X HUF. Now, we will come very, very close to this. Mamma mia. Okay. If the interest is paid to X HUF, who is partner? Partner is Mr. X, but the payment is made to X HUF. Okay. So, X HUF is not a partner. Partner is Mr. X in my example. Okay. So, in this particular case, no question of section 40B coming into picture. But supposing if partner is X HUF, okay, that means registered partner is X, beneficial partner X HUF. Okay, this is how, whenever I write partner, if the interest is also paid to the X HUF, because the capital investment is made by the HUF, partner is also HUF. Okay, so in that particular situation, partner is HUF in the sense that registered partner is Mr. X, but beneficial partner is X HUF. Okay, this is how you have to keep on imagining. So in this particular case, section 40B provisions will be applicable. Is that okay? Now, supposing if X HUF is the partner, but the payment of interest is made to Mr. X. This will be a very dicey situation where students will always compare registered partner is X. So the registered partner is X and the interest is also paid to X, then section 40B should be applicable. But now, in the given situation, we have to see the beneficial interest because interest is a return on investment. So investment was made by X HUF. So on the money which is invested by X HUF on which there is an interest, then we can say okay, 40B will apply. But now the interest is paid to Mr. X because investment is separate investment made by Mr. X on which there is an interest. In that particular case, section 40B condition cannot be applicable. Now all these summary points, friends, see, it is already provided to us in the explanation here. Listen very, very carefully. Okay, now understand in the technical way, and this particular explanation in the technical way I have already given it to you in this particular simplified version of our notes also, where one is the partner and the interest is paid to another one. But here students should not confuse. When I say interest is paid to X, so someone else. Now for example, if Mr. X, okay, you say partner is X and the interest is paid to X HUF, you will say this is bogus transaction. No, this is not bogus. We are trying to say that there is a separate transaction, that investment, that means capital is introduced by X, but X HUF has given a loan. Okay, that way we have to understand. So no transaction is bogus, but it is a separate transaction which is carried out by X HUF in such a situation. So don't think it is bogus or something like that. And here, see, I have already given example. Supposing Messrs XYZ, so X is the partner, but loan is given by X HUF is a possibility. If X HUF is the partner, so capital investment is done by X HUF, but the loan is given by Mr. X. So this kind of permutation combination is possible. Okay, now come to this particular technical aspect now, where a partner is in a representative capacity. Representative capacity means HUF. Okay, so where partner is in the representative capacity, so partner is X HUF. Okay, then interest is paid by the firm to such individual otherwise than as partner in the representative capacity. Otherwise than as partner in the representative capacity means paid to Mr. X. So the partner is X HUF, but the interest is paid to Mr. X. This is one of the situation. Okay. Then for the purpose of this section, it shall not be taken into account. It shall not be taken into account for the purpose of this clause. Okay. So see this. X HUF is the partner. This was the situation. This was the situation that 40B condition will not be applicable. Okay, now see another situation. Partner is in representative capacity, but interest is paid by the firm to such individual as a partner in a representative capacity. So partner in the representative capacity means X HUF. So the partner is also HUF and the interest is also paid to the X HUF. Okay, in that particular case, interest paid by the firm to the person shall be taken into account for the purpose of this clause. That means you see this. If HUF is the partner, the interest is also paid to the HUF, okay, then section 40B provision will be applicable. This situation is perfectly covered by the explanation. Okay, keep that in mind. Now, see this particular explanation number 2. Okay, where individual a partner in a firm otherwise then as a partner in a representative capacity, that means the partner is Mr. X, otherwise then as a partner in a representative capacity, that means individual is the partner. Okay, and the interest is paid by firm to such individual shall not be taken into account. Okay, so if such interest is received by him on behalf of any other person. So if this payment is made to X HUF, partner is Mr. X, but the payment of interest is going to X HUF because investment was made by X HUF. Okay, in that particular case, these particular provisions, this particular interest, okay, shall not be taken into account. So partner is Mr. X. See, partner is Mr. X, but the interest is paid to X HUF. 40B provisions are not applicable. This is an express clarification. However, if the partner is X and interest is paid to X, you don't need any clarification because it's a very common sense provision. If it is paid to someone else, again section 40B will not apply. You don't need any separate great rocket science to understand that. So these are the main situations which are covered by the explanation in this particular circumstances. Okay, so this is a special treatment that you will have to consider with respect to the interest adjustment. Okay, now interest discussion is over. Okay, so your interest discussion is over entire. Okay, now the remuneration. Okay, now for the remuneration, friends, there are Supreme Court judgments, and let me explain that particular point very, very carefully again here. See, come to the Barrett. Okay, any salary, bonus, commission, remuneration, etc., etc., whether allowed, not allowed, is not to a working partner. So what is it? To a partner. So salary, bonus, commission, remuneration to a partner. Have you understood that? Okay. Now the doubt will come into picture. What if he is a partner in a representative capacity? As such, there is no express clarification, but the Supreme Court judgment. Okay, and that particular Supreme Court judgment you understand. Okay. Now see, when it comes to the remuneration, when it comes to the work, because you have to be working, no? See, every partner should be a working partner, and the meaning of the working partner who is actively engaged in the business. Okay. So XYZ, if XHUF is the partner in the partnership firm, that means the registered partner is Mr. X. Now the Supreme Court has explained that when it comes to the work, although a partner is in a representative capacity, but the work in the partnership firm can be done only by Mr. X. That means somebody who can work with Mr. Y and Z, who will be working with Y and Z, where we are assuming that all of them are working partner. Who is working? Mr. X is working. It is not the family of Mr. X is working. Y and Z is related in the contract of the partnership with Mr. X. So the person who is working, he should be Mr. X only. Who is actually working is Mr. X only. And if there is any remuneration which is given to the partner, which is to Mr. X, that will be covered by section 40B. In other words, logically, the Supreme Court has said that from the working partner point of view, the concept of the registered partner is applicable, and the registered partner is Mr. X. So Mr. X should be working, and accordingly this particular provision should be applicable. In no stretch of imagination we can assume that, I repeat, in no stretch of imagination we can assume that the family is working, is what the Supreme Court has explained. So the person who is working is individual Mr. X, and remuneration is for his work, and accordingly only the provisions are to be applied and considered under section 40B. The partnership firm cannot pay remuneration to XHUF because XHUF is not working itself. Okay, so remuneration to Mr. X in such a situation will be covered by the test of section 40B.